Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us to learn more about NCAT's Food Corps Arkansas program. I'm Margot Hale, NCAT's Southeast Regional Office Director, and with me I have Rachel Spencer, our Food Corps Arkansas Fellow. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You all are currently on mute, so you can hear us and see our screen, but we cannot hear you. If you have a question at any time throughout the presentation, there is a little question box. You can feel free to type a question and Rachel or I will address it. And you also have the ability to raise your hand. There's a little yellow hand and you can click that and that will notify us that you have a question and we can unmute you and you can then speak and ask the question for all of us to hear. So definitely if you have any questions, about anything, any of our slides, feel free to ask those as we go along. And we will also have a time at the end of our presentation to answer any questions you may have. So, but feel free to contact us throughout the presentation because we want to make sure all of your questions are answered. Like I said, I am Margot Hale with the National Center for Appropriate Technology, or NCAT, and our Southeast Regional Office is located in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And today we are going to just give you a little bit of information about NCAT and our Food Corps program here in the state and discuss what it looks like to be a service site. We are currently recruiting new service sites for our upcoming service year. So we will cover the information needed for you to know about what it looks like to become a service site and how you can apply, and just a little bit more about our Food Corps program. So once again, thank you for joining us. Just a little bit of history about NCAT. NCAT is a nonprofit organization, and we were first formed in the mid-70s during the first energy crisis, and we were created to help low-income people save energy and reduce their cost. Today, our mission is to help people by championing small-scale, local, and sustainable solutions to reduce poverty and promote healthy communities and protect natural resources. NCAT is headquartered in Butte, Montana, but we are a national nonprofit and serve people all across the country. And we have regional offices, and we do a lot of regional work as well as national work. This is a map showing our regional office locations, and you can see us here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We have had an office in Fayetteville since the mid to late 80s, so we've been in the state for quite a number of years. NCAT manages projects and programs, and it varies from time to time how many projects we have. Currently it's about 50 projects, and we focus on sustainable agriculture, sustainable energy, and community development projects. We serve, like I said, we serve people all across the country with technical assistance, technical advice, and resource referrals. We do a lot of farmer training and energy education, energy technologies, weatherization, and researching sustainable agriculture challenges. One of our most well-known sustainable agricultural projects is ATRA, or the National Sustainable Agriculture Information Service. And some of you may be familiar with ATRA and some of our materials, some of our publications and websites. ATRA is a Farm Bill funded program that's been in existence since the 1987 Farm Bill and is managed by NCAT through a cooperative agreement through the USDA Rural Business Cooperative Service. And ATRA provides information on just about every aspect of sustainable and organic agriculture production, resource conservation, marketing, business and economics, pretty much like we said, every aspect of agriculture production. We have publications and a website, and we offer trainings and workshops, webinars, and e-newsletters. Some of NCAT's other agriculture programs and food-related programs include Food Corps, which you'll soon hear about our Food Corps program here in the state. NCAT manages Food Corps in Arkansas, Iowa, and Montana. We have other beginning farmer and rancher programs, small-scale intensive farm training, and farm-to-cafeteria projects. So NCAT has quite a diverse range of projects, and a lot of them focus on our sustainable agriculture, farm-to-school, local food initiatives. Here in the Southeast office, we have several staff who work on our ATRA project, as well as Food Corps, and we also have another service program called Energy Corps, where we place service members with organizations to do energy efficiency and weatherization and energy education projects. We also here out of our office in Arkansas do a lot of risk management training for farmers, and we've also done a lot of agriculture training for military veterans. If you're interested in learning more about our activities and our programs out of our office here in Fayetteville, you can visit us at the NCAT website. We have a special page for the Southeast region where we post stories and information and upcoming events. And we also have an e-newsletter, quarterly newsletter out of the Southeast office called The Dirt. And you can sign up to learn more about our activities, and we post our happenings with Food Corps and ATRA and some of our other programs. So I would encourage you to sign up for that newsletter. If you're interested in learning more about NCAT and ATRA and all of our other programs, you can visit our many different websites. If you go to the NCAT website, though, you can find all of these other links to learn about ATRA and Food Corps and our Energy Corps programs. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. So you can find lots of good ideas and information on sustainable agriculture and farm-to-school programs. And now I'll turn it over to Rachel, and she is going to introduce our Food Corps program here in the state.
Thanks, Margot. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And I should note, too, that we will post these slides along with all of the hyperlinks that we've mentioned on our state blog. So if you're curious about that, you don't have to be furiously taking notes at the moment. We'll make this available to everyone later. And if you would proceed, Margot. Margot's flipping my slides for me. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about Food Corps from a national perspective and then transition into sharing some specific examples from what Food Corps service looks like in Arkansas. So Food Corps tries to address a very complicated problem with a simple mission. We're all probably familiar with the rather daunting statistics that are thrown around a lot these days, that 1 in 3 kids is overweight or obese, and that once a child is overweight or obese, they have a 70 to 80% chance of staying that way throughout their adult lives. There's $147 billion spent every year treating preventable disease such as obesity, and Food Corps really strives to address these issues in a way that is very direct, like through direct service, put by placing service members as boots on the ground in schools and community organizations that are working to connect kids with healthy food. So we are a nationwide team of leaders that connects kids to real food and helps them grow up healthy. Our vision is to see a nation of well-nourished children who grow up knowing what healthy food is, how it grows, where it comes from, and have access to it every day. We also strive to develop leaders in the food system, so people that have this experience as a service member then will continue to be advocates for healthy food and healthy kids throughout their careers. We know that children who are introduced to fruits or vegetables when they are young are far more likely to consume them on a regular basis, so forming that healthy lifestyle that they can continue to adopt. And also we've seen that children participating in farm-to-school programs consume as much of an increase of 1 serving of fruits and vegetables per day. And we take a multi-pronged approach to promoting these farm to school activities because we think that combining educational components with local quality foods served in cafeterias can lead to permanent improvements in children's diets both in school and at home. We're really thinking holistically about the environment and every point where children come into contact with food. To do this, we employ an evidence-based model that's based on three pillars. And we ask about this in our application to be a service site. So our pillars are knowledge, engagement, and access. So we're trying to teach kids hands-on nutrition education, to build and tend school gardens, and build knowledge around healthy food, and to increase access, like sourcing from local farmers, high-quality, healthy, local and regional foods into school cafeterias. And who does this? You might be asking, hearing us talk about these activities. So the core of Food Corps are actually our service members, and this is our current Food Corps Arkansas team that you can see right here. They're pretty wily. We make a good pyramid, but we have a large recruitment pool. We recruit nationally, and we have a strong recruitment program regionally. So we get highly motivated people that are really passionate about this mission, and they spend a year-long term of service in public schools and limited resource communities to actively improve the school food environment where they're serving. And this next year, we actually will have an increase of our education award. This year, it's been $15,000, and next year it will be $17,500. And they also receive ongoing mentorship training and professional development through Food Corps National and through our sites and our host site. Which is a good time to talk a little bit more about the different layers of Food Corps. When we say host site, that is NCAT. So that's what Margot gave an overview of NCAT at the beginning. So these are nonprofit organizations that oversee the operation of Food Corps within their state. And in service sites, we're hoping that that could be you. These are grassroots organizations such as schools and community organizations that have local expertise and unique knowledge of community need. And they're responsible for the day-to-day oversight and guidance of service members. So when we place a service member at a service site, we really trust you to direct their activities, and we try to maintain a strong state cohort, but really they're with you full-time. So we try to recruit people and make sure that we do interviews and that everyone gets along, and it tends to work pretty well. So we've been talking about Food Corps as a national program, but just to give you a visual overview, we are in 15 states currently, potentially expanding to Georgia and DC next year. But here are all the states that we're in. Like Margot mentioned, NCAT also supervises the states in Montana, or Food Corps in Montana and Iowa, but we have over 108 local partners across the nation. So it's pretty exciting because our service members have a chance to really make an impact locally, but they can network with people that are doing this school garden and farm to school work all across the nation. So it makes for a great environment for them to share best practices and ideas with their fellow service members. I wanted to share in Arkansas, this is a map of our historic and our current service sites. So all of our historic sites are in the orange color, and then in yellow you see our current ones. Currently we have service members in Springdale, Fayetteville, and Marshall, but previously we have had them all throughout the northern part of Arkansas and also in Little Rock and Monticello. And we currently have 5 service members, I should add. And just in our last program year, so not including this year, our service members taught hands-on nutrition or garden-based lessons to 24,000 kids, over 24,000 kids, just in Arkansas. And they worked in 4 gardens to make that happen. And from those 4 gardens, they brought more than 7,000 pounds of fresh produce into local cafeterias, more than 600 pounds into classrooms, and donated over 1,000 pounds of produce to children and families. And the 7,000 pound figure is large because it also includes local farmers. So they were sourcing food from local farmers, and that fresh produce is included in that amount. And not included in this is meat and dairy from local farmers. So we do have some sites that have worked extensively with local protein sources such as ground beef, and that's not included in that. But it's a pretty big impact just from a year. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper into our three pillars and what that actually looks like on a daily basis for our service members. And I'm not going to read all of these quotations to you because you can see them on your screen. But here, our service member, Sean, he's actually in Fayetteville, he's talking about how he took his middle school garden and cooking club to a field trip to a local farm. And at the farm, they were able to interact with a farmer, talk to him about his livelihood, about their mission as a local farm, and also apply some math, science, and reading on that field trip. Students get incredibly excited when they have a chance to interact with farmers and really know where their food comes from. And of course, the opportunity to pick strawberries in the spring is something that is going to inspire kids to want to come back as well. And here you can see our service member Allie last year, also in a middle school environment, but talking about ecology in a compost pile. So actually getting these kids outside, this was a wintertime lesson. So even though not a lot was growing in the garden, she was able to construct a series of 5 lessons to dive deeply into what this ecosystem of a compost pile is with these kids, and they were able to discover it in a hands-on way. Another illustration about how even in the wintertime, there's a lot of snow outside where we are right now. So I was inspired to talk a little bit about garden planning, and how we've had a service member report that their garden club had a blast rummaging through dozens of seed packets and selecting what vegetables and varieties they want to grow in the spring. Kids are getting really excited about their gardens, especially since all these snow days have given them cause to want to be outside. We can really do a lot with planning and linking garden planning, especially to math lessons. It's a really good opportunity that a lot of our service members are currently taking advantage of. And kids very much enjoy starting seeds too. It's a really unique and rare experience for kids to be able to plant a seed and see it grow into a plant and really maintain that connection with the garden all throughout the life cycle of a plant, because that's really what they're learning about in a garden is life cycles. Of course, we do enjoy gardens that look like this as well. I couldn't resist adding some images of cucumbers and harvested onions and just really happy kids at a summer camp that is also here in Fayetteville. Cooking classes are another way that we increase engagement around healthy food. So recently, one of our service members was working with a fifth grade class, and she had students say that they felt like Bobby Flay. And she also had a moment where she realized that students just had some of their vegetables in a pan, and that they didn't have it on a hot plate, that they thought just putting the vegetables in the pan was going to cook it. So she was able to use that as a teaching moment and connect them safely with the hot plate and make sure, like, show them the method of sauteing vegetables. And the kindergartners got to chop things for quesadillas with their plastic knives. So a lot of cooking skills, really like tactile learning, and preparing kids to have those skills for the rest of their lives takes place. This is one of our elementary schools in Springdale. And this right here is in Yellville from last year. This is a middle school cooking camp that took place in the summer. So one of the questions we frequently get asked is what happens with school gardens in the summertime when school isn't in session. Of course, this year we might be in session all through summer, depending on how the weather goes. But traditionally, we've had a lot of success with service members hosting summer camps where kids will go and harvest vegetables in the morning before it gets too unbearable, and then come inside and actually enjoy a meal together, prepare those vegetables and learn about cooking methods. And in the summertime, it's fun because you can really conduct a lot of lessons that are mainly about cooking. Like, we very much stress linking to educational standards during the school year, but it can also be a wonderful experience for kids to just prepare a meal together and to be able to sit down and enjoy each other's company in a way that can be rarer and rarer these days. And it's not just kids, too. I wanted to illustrate that our service members also work with parents. This is a family cooking class that was hosted by our service member, Sophia, last year. And this was at a middle school, and parents brought their kids into the middle school, and the parents went back into the cafeteria kitchen under the supervision of the cafeteria manager at that school. And they prepared some of the more difficult parts of the meal, and the kids remained out in the cafeteria, and that was for safety reasons. The cafeteria didn't allow kids to be in the industrial kitchen, but really we were able to work it out, and the parents and the kids both got a cooking experience and learn new skills. And it's very cool to see parents like engaging alongside their kids in these cooking activities, and also just sharing knowledge about what what healthy food means to them, and different recipes that have been passed down in their over the course of their family. Like, we're really reigniting culture in a lot of ways. And this quotation, I laugh because in response to a taste test of raw carrots and raw radishes, this is in Marshall, Arkansas, one of our service members was just amazed, blown away by how much these kids really enjoyed this lettuce, carrots, radishes, a lot of the things that she can grow in her cool season greenhouse. But she had one student say that this radish tastes like raw deer meat, and he loved it, which we didn't ask how they know what raw deer meat tasted like, but it's still, the kids just do say the darndest things. And I think that this really illustrates how we're showing these kids a different option. Like, one of the students said that this carrot is better than any snacks that my mom gives me. And we're creating food memories that we're hoping will stay with kids as they develop habits over the course of their lives. This is at an apple tasting in an elementary school here in Northwest Arkansas, and all of the students are holding up a piece of an apple. And we linked this lesson to some of the history of apples and history of agriculture in Arkansas, because the students tasted 3 varieties that are grown at A&A orchards in Northwest Arkansas, and every student got a little piece of a healthy snack in the process of learning a little Arkansas history. And to highlight access even further, I wanted to include this picture that's from a cafeteria in Fayetteville, where they have actually highlighted the farmers that they work with. So the kids can see that these are the farms that our school is buying from. And some of those kids will have had the opportunity to go on a farm field trip to one of these farms and know what's even beyond the print picture. And salad bars, too, which are pictured here, are a great way to incorporate local ingredients, because they can be put on the salad bar raw in a lot of ways, and lettuce is something that we can grow easily in most parts of Arkansas, and we've had a lot of success with buying local lettuce. And also you can grow lettuce in a school garden, and another way to get kids excited about tasting new vegetables is to have them grow it in their school garden, and then to put it on their salad bar along with a sign that says, "This came from your garden." And kids can make that sign, and we've had a lot of enthusiasm we encounter with that approach. So that was a very broad overview of like what service looks like in Arkansas, and I could go on, and my service members could certainly continue to talk about the lessons that we link activities to. But really, if you're on this call, we're hoping that you're interested in applying to be one of our sites, because we're looking for new site partners next year, and we wanted to talk a little bit about what we ask of our sites. So technically speaking, these are our basic outline of what do we need from you? So in order to be a site, you have to have one staff member that can act as a site supervisor, that commits to providing ongoing assistance to the service member throughout the year. And in addition, that supervisor has to be able to attend a summer state training. So we have an in-person kind of mini conference for a day where we train someone on what it takes to approve timesheets, to be a supervisor, the expectations, and et cetera. And then another just very basic requirement is providing appropriate training and orientation, physical office space like a computer, telephone, and internet access. And we also do ask that sites participate in recruitment and the interview process. So that's very relevant now, because our site deadline is coming up at the end of March, and after that happens, we will be speaking with the people that applied. We'll be doing interviews and possibly site visits. And once we select our new sites, food court interviews of potential service members take place in May. So it's good to know that if you're thinking about applying, that we'll be able to set aside some time in May to interview your new service member. So it really is coming up sooner than you might expect. And then the down and dirty, the $5,000 cash match is required, though you don't have to know exactly where that money is going to come from when you apply. You just have to know that you'll get it and that you will send it to us. Actually, you send it to Food Corp, but there's a lot of other specific details about liability coverage, being able to provide transportation reimbursement. If you ask a service member to take a long trip that's related to their service, we ask you that you reimburse them. But those details are listed on our blog. There's a document that is on the Become a Service Site tab that you can pull up. And I do encourage you to review that because there's a few other things that are useful too. Like service members can't participate in political lobbying. So if your organization does that, that's not something that they could be involved in. But do check that out and let us know if you have any questions. And this slide is really my favorite because those are the technical things that we're asking from our sites, but what are we really looking for? Because we do not have a lot of service members to give, and we wish that we had more, but we're looking to place service members in a situation where they can make maximum impact. So we're looking for sites that really believe in the mission of connecting kids to healthy food. Like, do you have a vision for what your program could be like next year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? We're really looking for places that can see opportunity around the three pillars that we've talked about, around building knowledge in, engaging with, and increasing access to healthy food. It doesn't mean that you have to be doing all of those things, just that you have a vision for how you have a multifaceted approach to really improving the environment of where kids interact with food in your organization or school. And are you ready to make a commitment to building a program that will last? Like I said, we're really trying to leverage limited resources for maximum impact. So are you thinking about sustainability? And if we put someone there in a year, how long will you need them to sustain the program? We like just to know that people are thinking about self-sustaining programs. And really, are you passionate about investing in healthy futures for Arkansans and eager to serve as models for other programs across the state? We really like that our sites can share ideas between each other, and we're hoping to expand and grow bigger in the future and really want to help form a network of schools that are doing this work throughout the state. So those are some of the more intangible things that we're looking for, and we don't necessarily have metrics that we are measuring against for all of these categories, but we do like to get to know our potential sites, and we are thinking about this when we evaluate our applications. And this is our application page that you may have seen on the internet. Margaret, do we want to click on it? And so most of you have probably seen this. It's on the internet. It is a separate website from our blog. So you can go to our blog and you can see information about what we're looking for in our potential service sites. And then if you scroll down this web page, you can see that this is our site application. And if you have any questions about any specific things that we ask on here, definitely let us know. We are here to help. You're going to scroll down a little bit more, Margot, just to see. And then really we don't need to look at it that much longer. So we tried to make it approachable. We didn't want it to be too long, but we did want to see that these sorts of questions were really thought through, because you're going to get a full-time person if we select you as a site. So they need a full-time job. It's not a job, but they need to be able to have service to do at all times. Do you want to go back to the PowerPoint? Thank you. And we do this because we truly believe and have observed from evidence that children who are immersed in a healthy food environment will learn better, live longer, and liberate their generation from the painful and costly epidemic of diet-related disease. So we are in it from the long haul, and we've been really lucky to work with amazing people throughout Arkansas so far, and we are just incredibly excited that we have the chance to work with even more next year. Ah, the links. We couldn't let you go without more links. And like I said, I'll post this online, but we do have a really fun Pinterest page and a blog. The blog is great because our service members actually write about what they do on a daily basis. There's a really great one up there right now about a butternut squash taste test that our service member Kelsey put together that talks about like how it really feels to go through that process and the steps that she took and the recipe that she used. So it's definitely fun. If you ever are at a place where you would like to think about like what would a service member do if they were at my school, then if you look at these things, they're really meant, I'm sharing them here as resources to say that if you ever need inspiration or ideas, then check them out there. And also let us know if you think we should be sharing anything different or if you have a great story to share too. And also you can call us. There's our office phone number and also the email address for Margot or I. Like we really like to get to know people, and our capacity is such that we have been able to get to know our sites in the past, and we really like to continue that. So please engage with us in whatever way you think is best. And thank you very much for listening. We cannot do a presentation without having a picture of baby goats because somehow we just interact with them a lot. Like this is actually at one of our elementary schools in Springdale, and this kindergarten class was meeting these baby goats for the first time. So that is also a reality of what food corps service in Arkansas is. But thank you all for listening. Let me see. I don't see any questions that are typed right now. Or
Yes, if there's any questions, feel free to type those in the little box, or you can also raise your hand. There's a little yellow, oh, we have a question. Okay, just a second. Okay, Heather. Oh, when are applications due? The application deadline for our service sites is March 24th.
24th.
So that's when we will start evaluating all of our applications. So if you do have any questions before then, please, any questions about the application, if there's anything there that is confusing or not clear to you, please do let us know. Heather, did that answer your question? Do you have any other questions?
And it's actually the 28th. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I shouldn't have confirmed that. It's the 28th, which is the last Friday in March. So basically all the month of March.
okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, thank you all for joining us. As Rachel said, if you have any questions, please feel free to email or call us. You can um, contact us anyway. Visit our Food Corps blog to see more about what our service members are doing. And if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, please do feel free to contact us. We would love to get to know you and hear what you're doing at your sites and see if you would be a good fit for a service site for our Food Corps members. So thank you for joining us today and for learning more about our program. And please do let us know if you have any questions.